Hey, this is Ben from Endseeker, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Brutally Delicious!
You're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast. I'm Bruce Moore.
And I'm Kris Seegers.
And today we've got Metal Blade recording artists and death metal titans Endseeker. I know, Kris, you wanted to get some death metal on here, so this should be a good one.
Yeah, I was actually just reading the definition of death metal because, you know, I'm still learning and my brain doesn't work very well. So,
right, we know that.
So death metal is an extreme subgenre of heavy metal music. Okay. It typically employs heavily distorted and low-tuned guitars, played with techniques such as palm muting and tremolo picking, deep growling vocals, aggressive powerful drumming featuring double kick and blast beat techniques, minor keys or atonality, abrupt tempo, key, and time signature changes, as well as chromatic chord progressions. The lyrical themes of death metal may evoke slasher film stylized violence, political, conflict, religion, nature, philosophy, and science fiction. So there we go.
The thing you notice about here, well, two things. One, if you listen to our last podcast, you can take Riley's lesson and kind of learn how to sing like that.
Yeah, I've been using it.
Kris making death metal over there. Second of all, I think it's interesting, and I know I don't want to get too political or too whatever, but there's like not much misogyny or any of that stuff that, you know, from the 80s. It's really just really serious stuff.
Yeah, well, from what I was reading, it was like Venom kind of started the whole thing, which is interesting. I've seen Venom a couple times. Great band live.
Oh, yeah, you saw him on the boat, right?
Well, at least 3 times now, I think, yeah.
Damn, I've never seen him.
Their drummer is so good. Well, their new drummer. I don't know about their old drummer.
Right.
And, but then it was saying Morbid Angel was like a huge, huge start to this scene. And then Slayer came in and just fucking blew everyone away with how they kind of morphed the genres together. So when I'm listening to Endseeker, I can kind of hear all of that combined.
Right. It's nice. I mean, I think out of all the, I guess, subgenres, obviously I'm a classical fan, I guess classical metal, you know, like Dio and that sort of stuff. But out of all the subgenres, I think death metal might be my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself liking it. I just don't know genres. Metal is just metal to me.
Yeah, I know. And I guess as you get more into it, you'll notice like a lot of the metalcore stuff has those, it incorporates those breakdowns like from hardcore and kind of stuff.
Yeah. But I'm learning that metal has more subgenres than electronic music does.
I know, it's crazy. It's actually really crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like it for what it is. I'll listen to everything. Obviously, you know, because I'm an old bastard, my tastes lie in like the old classic stuff that I grew up on. But any of that's great.
Yeah, nice. I listened to Deployment of the Aroused and Consumed by Desire.
Sorry, I'm too. You said aroused, and I started laughing. Sorry.
Deployment of the Aroused. Oh, I'll deploy my arousement.
Again, that's
hopefully my wife doesn't hear that.
Like we can go south really quickly with that. I'm too, dude.
Yeah, well, who isn't?
You know, I'm in my 50s and act like I'm 2 or 3, but whatever. Aroused makes me laugh.
You know, when you're in your teenage years and you start making sex jokes and it's really funny,
right?
It never ends.
No, same thing with fart jokes.
Yeah, fart jokes always win.
My wife is always like, don't you think you're a little old to laugh at that fart joke? No, never.
No. That's a good joke. It's like the saying, that's what she said. It's always okay.
Yeah, that too, it's always okay.
Even though it's pretty misogynistic or whatever, it's always funny. That's what she said.
It is always But anyway, so I think these guys are from Germany. So I don't know what kind of accents we're going to be dealing with. They're going to call and then I'll just add them. I mean, I'll have to add you.
Yeah. You know, the thing I love about people from that area of Europe, they all know like 5 languages.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Finding people in the States know none.
They don't even know English.
Nope. So I'll tell you something sad.
Yeah.
My kids, well, Zach may have got by, but Colin doesn't have to write anything in any of his classes and has never had to.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know cursive.
Yeah, that's normal.
Everything is just on a keyboard.
You think that's sad?
Oh, I think it's terribly sad.
They have to learn to print, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you're like, hey, sign this. How do I do that? Really?
Oh, dude, my writing since I've been a computer guy, my writing is getting worse and worse and worse. It's terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, I don't know about cursive. I don't know how I feel about that whole thing, you know? Like, I get why they're not doing it, but is it important?
Yeah, I think it's important to be able
to be able to write in cursive?
But what happens when the apocalypse comes and the zombies hit and there's no power? How are you communicating with the other people?
Printing.
You can't print. There's no power, dude.
No, print like...
Oh, you mean like printing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it takes too long. You should be writing cursive.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. The apocalypse will come. I mean, it's already hit the Bahamas.
Holy shit, I feel bad for those people.
Holy fuck. Can you imagine that? 3 days of that thing just sitting there. Oh my God. Like, I couldn't even... Like, they were showing satellite images of it just before I came on with you.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, lots of the island is just gone. Just gone.
Wow.
So they said, here's the before image and here's the after image. And it's fucking mind-numbing. It's just gone.
I don't know how they rebuild from that because, I mean, they're an island. It's going to be difficult to get everything back over there. And
yeah, well, there's 700 islands. Like, can you imagine the amount of work that's going to take to fuck it, if they even do, you know? Like what? Like they're a Commonwealth country, so you know, lots of them will probably end up maybe going to Canada or to Europe or some other island.
Right, they won't be able to come here because you know we won't let them.
No.
Sorry. I'm sneaking in politics and religion on this episode.
Yeah. We don't want to help people out down here. We're against that. Even though there's 3 million open jobs and no one to do them. Sorry. I'll stop myself.
Yeah, so what have you been listening to?
Me? I've actually been mixing a rock country EP.
Oh, nice.
For a band out of Vancouver. So that's what I've been listening to, yeah. If I mix for, 8-10 hours a day, I don't really want to listen to music after that.
Oh, I imagine. But I haven't been mixing, and this new fucking Killswitch Engage record?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, dude.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's really good.
I'm going to have to check it out. I love it. I also listened to the new Tool record.
Oh, and how did I know you were going there?
Yeah. I was like, the first listen, I was like, eh. So I was like, I'll give it a second listen. Second listen, I was like, double eh. And then the third listen, I cut it off halfway through. I was like, nah.
I'm glad to see you didn't drink the Kool-Aid because I posted that little thing that said I was marked safe from the Tool record, and I got all these like nasty grams tell me I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I didn't drink the Kool-Aid, dude. I listened to it with an open mind and went, meh.
Yeah, it sounded like Tool from 1990. They didn't go anywhere. Nothing changed. Maybe that's what people like, though.
And it came out the same day as the Killswitch record, and there's no comparison.
Really, I'll have to check it out. It was just all over my...
But I also want...
The Tool record was just all over my newsfeed, so I just clicked it and checked it out.
Yeah.
I mean, from a marketing perspective, they fucking did something really cool, where they waited...
Oh, yeah.
They didn't release any of their songs on digital platforms at all until the new record came out, and then they flooded the market with their music.
Yep, I agree.
Wasn't every one of their records in the top 10 on Billboard?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it'll be massive, I'm sure.
Yeah. Still a band I'd like to see live, though.
No, it's Ben.
Hey, Ben, how are you doing? I'm Chris. I'm Bruce's partner on the podcast.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Are you in Germany as we speak?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that the harvest is complete and ready to get out there, how do you feel about it? And are you satisfied with the outcome?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely satisfied. It's always pretty exciting to record an album because you never know what the outcome really is. And as soon as the songs are really recorded and mixed and stuff, and it's great. It topped my expectations, and I couldn't be happier with it.
What was the recording process like for it? So Bruce and I always ask this question. So, like, did you guys write it in the same room together? Did you work on it separately through computers? Like, how did you attack it?
When it comes to the songwriting, we work separately. Basically, it's Yuri, the other guitarist, who writes most of our stuff at home, and I'm writing a little bit. And on some songs, we both get together and write together, and then we rehearse the shit in the rehearsal room and make sure that everything's tight and it works for us as a band together, so that our drummer like brings his own ideas in, so that he's not really copying the programmed drums from the demos completely, but puts his own flavor to it. And but then as soon as we enter the studio, we're super old school. We do it like the old-fashioned way. Everybody's there, and then we track one instrument after the other. So we start with the drums, then we do the rhythm guitars, bass, guitar overdubs, and the vocals. And yeah, so we spent including mix, I think we spent 23 days in studio this time.
Oh, wow. There's not a lot of bands that have that luxury to pull that off.
Yeah, but we're old guys, we're all around, we're all around 40, so we want to live our teenage dream this time, so right. We just fuck the money, let's get into the studio and have a good time.
That's awesome.
So I think
I wasn't laughing at. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Ben. I was laughing at me because I'm older than you as well, so I get it. So don't be offended.
Yeah. No, just for me as an audio engineer, it's pretty rare to have 23 days to do anything with one project.
Yeah.
In the age that we live in. So that explains why the record sounds so freaking massive.
Thanks.
Because you could take your time and
absolutely
do it.
We took our time because I think it's important, because we don't want to rush anything. And Ike, our producer, is a great guy, and he one of his very big talents is that he brings you to the point where you deliver the best performance you could do without putting you under pressure too much.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so he's always making sure that you're comfortable. And of course, we know Ike for forever, so he's more like a family member, but still it's a working environment, and he makes sure that everybody's comfortable, and he knows exactly what to say to you to bring you to your best performance, and before you get the next beer out of the fridge, though.
Well, if you're working for 23 days straight, that fridge better be full.
A few times.
Yeah, we had to refill it every day, actually.
That's great.
So, Ben, when you're writing your songs, I assume you wrote more than the 9 that made the record. If so, you wrote just a straight 9?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
that's what we have done all records through. We always write exactly the amount of songs that we want to put on the record and nothing more. So there are no sorted out songs left anywhere.
Gotcha. All right, well, that beats my question. I was wondering how you were going to pick them, but
sorry.
Kris?
Okay, I'm more of a technical guy, so I want to know, because the guitar sounds are so good on this recording. Like Bruce just sent it over to me, and I was just like, Jesus, this is huge. So were you using real amps? Were you using like Kemper or Axe effects, or were you combining both?
No, it's just real amps. Also on this point, we're super old school. We both played Marshall JCM 800 heads. And then we have like pedal boards that differ a little bit from each other, but are basically the same. So, and for this record, we switched over from the old Boss HM2 pedal, which makes this chainsaw guitar sound, over to a pedal, like a boutique version that is built in Berlin by KMA Audio Machines.
Nice.
And they do really, really fine stuff. And this pedal has more options to dial in the specific sound that we need. So it has like more options in the high and the low mids.
Yeah.
And this makes our sound more articulate and more precise. So that this time you can really hear what we're playing. And I think this makes it a little bit more brutal than the last time, where the sound was maybe more crazy, but this time it's like more on point, I think.
That's one of the first things that I noticed. That's why I was wondering if you were using like the Kemper or the Axe effects or anything like that, because it's just so like people can't see my hand, but it's like right in your face, you know, and you can hear every note, and it's quite awesome. Yeah.
Well, great that it transfers, you know. That's cool that it worked out.
Yeah. Kris was referring Spiritual Euphoria. That's the video I sent him over this morning to check out.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
When you put all this time into your tone and into your writing your songs, how does it make you feel when you finally get up on stage and hit those notes, and what you spent all those months creating comes to life like in front of a live crowd?
You know, it's a cliche, but it's true. You know, this is what it's all about. You know, going out there and playing the songs live to people, and so you get a live reaction. You get like instant feedback if it transfers or not, and so the response that you get from the audience is super important, and it's great. And we have a lot of fun on stage. We have a good time there. We really enjoy playing live, and it's always very exciting when you start playing new songs for the first times. It's always, oh my God, like, don't fuck up the break or whatever, you know, just don't let me look like an idiot, you know, screw up the guitar solo. And, but in the end, it's super cool. And we really like it. And we like to hang out with the fans afterwards, like, and pop some beers. And that's what we enjoy. The studio is cool, but studio is a very small period of time compared to the whole album cycle that's coming afterwards with touring and stuff. So we really like to play like that's the real deal.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. Now I got to ask a question. Maybe you can answer this question. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to step out. I'll be 2 seconds.
I have no idea what he's going to... Oh, here we go. So I hope he's not going to play for you, Ben.
No, I'm not. I have this this old 80s Ibanez DT350, which is
absolutely badass.
Yeah, it's a killer guitar. And it has like the locking trem, the whole 9 yards. But I need to put pickups in it, because the pickups that are in this are super low gain. Now, I just outfitted my Strat with like the Crunch Lab. What pickups would you recommend for this badass guitar?
Honestly, I'd say it depends on what kind of music you want to play on this. So if you want to really shred some heavy tunes, maybe you check out the classic EMG setup with everyone in the bridge, or maybe you could check out some bare knuckle pickups for when you're looking for a high output. So me personally, I like pickups that have a little lower output. So we're playing these Solar guitars, and they have these Seymour Duncan pickups in there, and they're pretty low output, but this makes them very dynamic and gives them like it's not so compressed, the sound, so it gets more clarity, I think. Okay. So that's what I like. But before, when I used to play Gibson and stuff, I had the EMG 81s in there, and they were cool too. So, but just a totally different deal.
Yeah, but to put the EMGs in here, I'd have to do some serious work. It would have to, because they're active, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how big the
cutout here.
No, for the electronics. How big. So if it's big enough, you can just put the battery in there, and so the cool thing about the EMGs is that they are solderless. So you just plug it in, and that's it. It's super
really?
easy. Yeah. They really improved their system to the max. It's awesome. If you want to put new pickups into your guitar and you use EMGs, it couldn't be easier than that.
Awesome. I appreciate you going along because on this podcast, we like to say it's a mixture of like Howard Stern meets Seinfeld, where we don't ask the people that come on, like, you know, how did you come up with your band name or those kind of questions. It's just casual conversations with metal musicians that have new records coming out so people can get to know them better.
That's cool.
So I appreciate the advice. I love this guitar.
Don't think he's too much of a weirdo.
This guitar was actually gifted
totally
to me.
Gets me with this gear talk because I'm also a writer for a German guitar magazine. So I'm pretty much of a gearhead, you know, and I really like this stuff, you know, and playing around with guitars and modifying and stuff. Well, I really like that.
They only made this guitar for 1 year, 84,
really?
85. That was it. And I went back when I was a musician and trying to get a record deal and doing all that stuff. I was a waiter, and this lady came in one day. She always came in, and she said, you know, I had a dream last night, and you need to have my son's guitar. And I was just like, what? I was like, what's he going to think about it? And she's like, well, he died 10 years ago.
Oh, man.
And I was like, I can't have that guitar. She's like, no, you're supposed to have it. So she brought it into the restaurant for me. And I've had this guitar ever since, but I've never known what to do with it. But recently I've been getting into like really modding out guitars. Like I modded out my custom shop Strat, and I'm like, it's time to build the ultimate Ibanez guitar. And I don't know what pickups to do. So thanks for the advice. I'm going to check it out.
So Ben, getting back to Endseeker, what do you guys have planned tour wise?
Our record comes out Friday in a week, Friday the 13th, and nice. Afterwards we're playing I think something around 20 more shows here in Germany, and we are booking shows for next year already, and we hope that we can play as many festivals as possible, because I'm pretty sure you know that we have a huge load of festivals over here in Europe. And
lucky.
Oh yeah, so lucky.
It's awesome. It's really great. And we're working on some tours, so we're talking with other promoters from different bands and stuff. Nothing I can talk about now because nothing's fixed yet, but I hope that we're playing as much as possible. So we had internal conversations, and we had meetings with our wives and stuff, because since we're the thing is that since we're not 20 anymore, but 40 plus, we all have wives and kids and stuff like that, and jobs, and suddenly this record deal with Metal Blade comes around the corner, and you sit there, okay, well, this is something that I dreamt of when I was a teenager, but now I'm old and somehow, but I really want to do this, I want to take this chance, and I want to really, I want to do this. But since the life circumstances are so different to when you're 20, you really have to make sure that your environment supports you, so the wives have to cover you up, and the kids must be okay with, daddy's away for, I don't know, 50, 60 shows next year. It's cool, and also job wise, you have to make sure that you're not broke when you come home from tour, because you lost your job or whatever, it would kind of suck, so these are things that we really sorted out, and we're good to go, and I hope that it works out and we get as many shows as possible.
Nice. That's awesome. So you mentioned it, I kind of said something earlier. Are you going to prepare differently, or do you have to prepare differently for the rigors of the road, being of a certain age? It's going to take a toll on your body, right?
No, we have found out for ourselves, and we made it to a rule. We're not sleeping on the floor anymore.
Hey.
Okay, so if you book us for a show, give us a fucking bed, Right. We don't ask for much, we don't want any luxury or whatever. We just ask for a bed. It's just an ordinary bed. That's it. Clean. Yeah. That's not infested with some.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Just a clean, as you can imagine, like I'm playing in a band for, I don't know, 25 plus years now. And I have toured a lot and I have experienced a lot. And I've slept on the street on tour because we couldn't afford any hotel, whatever, So we're living like homeless people. And or sleeping in a car, sitting, in your sweaty, stage dress and stuff, and it really sucks. Since I passed the age of 40,
right,
I'm not doing this anymore. Okay, I'm too old for this. Just give me a bed and I'm fine. That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
a bed with the clean sheets, maybe a shower.
Shower would be a big plus.
Yeah. I can also live with like a shower every 2 days or whatever. I'm not too picky about that. But a bed is all I'm asking.
Yeah, the bones start to hurt and the back is not as good as it used to be. You need that bed. I hear ya.
Yeah.
Chris?
So have you guys started working on stage design at all? Are you at that stage of planning yet?
No, we just go out there and play, and everybody has a different approach to it. Like I have a certain stage dress that I wear every time I go on stage. But the others, I'm not sure if they really think too much about it. Like they just go on stage. But for myself, I feel more comfortable when I wear certain stuff, this is like my battle uniform, whatever,
Sure.
So I go out there, dress a little bit up and then go out there and do my thing.
Cool.
You've said you've been touring for quite a bit and with Endseeker as well. Do you have the craziest onstage gear failure or gear problem that you can think of offhand? I know that I'm putting you on the spot, but
craziest gear? No, not really. No, I don't have a really spectacular moment that I can recall now.
I'll tell you why I asked, because I've been doing interviews for a long time, and I was actually doing one with Saltatio Mortis, I believe they're called, and playing a festival, getting ready to playing Whack-In, or I think it was Vakken or whatever it is, but he's up on stage, a drummer, and a hornet flew up his shorts and stung him in the nuts. And he said it was like swelling like the size of a grapefruit, but he had to keep playing because it was like their first time at Vakken or Whack-In or whatever you want to call it. And then I was like, I bet you everyone has a story, maybe not as crazy as that. But
Okay. One thing came into my mind. I think last year somewhere we played at some weird kind of punk festival somewhere in Germany, and we were supposed to headline this thing, and the whole like schedule was totally screwed. So at the moment when we arrived, I think there was already like 45 minutes delay. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, holy shit! It's still 5 bands to go until we go up. So when it was our time for changeover, it was like almost middle of the night. So it's the thing. Everybody was super drunk. Half of the people already left because they had to go home, whatever. So we tried to set up our shit, and somehow the bass amp didn't work. So for one note it worked, for the other it didn't. It was not consistent. So and we were trying to find out what's the problem, and the sound engineer came over, and everybody was like trying to fix this, and it took us like I think 45 minutes. And our bass player, he really started to panic because he thought, I'm blocking everything, and everybody's leaving. We have to play now. So he wanted to check out if it was his bass, and he wanted to grab his spare bass, which was in a very dark and tiny room that was right next to the stage. So he walked in there, and there was no light in there, and it was like in a Tom and Jerry cartoon. He stepped on a broom, and the stick hit him right in the face. So he came back from this room with a swollen eye and blood running down his face. I stepped on a fucking broom, man. This sucks. And he was grumpy as hell. So he was in a really, really bad mood. And then we finally found the broken cable or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't remember. And then we could play, and there were 20 people left or whatever, and everybody was too drunk even to mosh. So everybody was just hanging there. I think that was the most terrible gig that we ever had. And yeah. And
see, I knew if I got you warmed up, you'd come up. You got to have one after all those years.
Yeah.
Hey, so Ben, if you're stranded on a deserted island and you can only take 3 records, assuming you have a solar powered CD player or something, what would you pick?
I'd pick Pantera, Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah.
Machine Head, Burn My Eyes.
Yes.
And a random Bolt Thrower record. I don't know. They're all awesome.
Awesome. That's great. So we've gotten to have a little fun here. You okay if I ask you some completely off the wall questions?
Just go ahead, man.
I know you're going to think I'm weird, but we ask it. Well, maybe Kris doesn't, but I've taken to asking a couple bizarre.
I try to keep things on the up and up. Bruce is just crazy.
I try to ask some completely off the wall questions. So if you think I'm an ass, you can tell me to go away. But all right, you ready? Here's the setup. You're in a grocery store. What 3 things could you buy that would make the clerk the most uncomfortable?
The clerk?
Yeah, the person checking you out.
The cashier.
Okay. In a grocery store.
Yeah. You could tell me to shut the hell up and move on. That's fine.
I don't know. Maybe whatever. Cucumbers, Vaseline, and condoms, or whatever. some kind of that combination.
Oh my god, that reminds me.
Sorry. Wait, here we go.
Don't forget that I come from Hamburg, and we have the Reeperbahn over here, which is the world's biggest red light district. So if I go into a grocery store over there and buy that shit, nobody cares,
Sorry, Ben, if you think I'm fucked up, but I got one more for you. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather be a hobbit or an elf for 24 hours?
An elf, of course. Hobbits, they have cherry feet and stuff. Yeah. And I think that the elves have better weed.
Hey,
now you're talking.
Hey, is weed legal in Germany?
No, it's not legal. We're totally behind on that point. Our politicians are way too conservative to legalize that. It's ridiculous.
I guess Canada's the only forward-thinking country in the world, and Uruguay, 2 countries that have legal weed.
Yeah, well, Netherlands.
Oh, Netherlands does too?
Yeah, and already for 20 years or whatever.
The whole country.
There's a few states here that
parts of the U.S. have, right?
Yeah, not Virginia.
And whatever, and California or something.
Yeah, I think Denver as well.
Yeah, Colorado does. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
And the whole West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. Yeah, good for those people. Everyone
Kris,
likes good weed.
Else?
Well, no, it's just when you asked him that question, it reminded me of this story, and I don't know if I should tell it because it's not really interviewing you. But if you want to hear a funny story, I could tell it.
Of course, bring it on.
Okay, so 70,000 Tons of Metal, 2012, the second version. And at the end of that cruise, I had Jiffy marker all over my arms. I had girls and bands signing my arms with Jiffy markers. I was dressed up as a Royal Caribbean cruise employee, and one of the employees dressed up as a passenger, and we were going around and we were getting really, really drunk. So anyways, the next day we all had to go to the hotel. And I'm going with my friend Ken, and I'm fucking hung over like you wouldn't believe. I don't even know if I went to bed. So we go in, and I have to get this Jiffy marker off me because we're going to the super high-end hotel on South Beach. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to get this Jiffy marker off me. And my buddy Ken's wife goes, oh, you have to use baby oil. And I'm like, baby oil? Yeah, baby oil. So we go into Fry's. Was it Fry's? Anyway, some department store. And I walk in and I'm with my buddy Ken and I'm just looking haggard and I got Jiffy marker all over my body. And I look at the lady and I'm standing beside my buddy. I'm like, do you know where we can find some baby oil? And the lady's like, yeah, it's just back here. So I go, Ken, we're walking back. My buddy Ken's like, we? I was like, oh shit, sorry.
Right.
So anyways, when we go back up to pay, and I got 2 bottles of baby oil, and I'm with my buddy Ken, and the same lady's checking us out, or being the cashier, and she's like, anything else for you guys? Ken's like, can I have a box of those Magnums, the Magnum condoms? I laughed so hard I dropped my Gatorade. It fucking busted all over the floor. It was like,
nice.
It was just like one of those moments in time. Anyways.
So, Ben, well, let's go back to Endseeker. Sorry about this wandering all over the place, but if people, Jesus Christ, if people want to find Endseeker, how do they get a hold of you, and where can they listen to some music?
Oh, well, people can check us out on Facebook, obviously, and on Instagram, then all the streaming services, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. And I think we're also in some playlists on Pandora. I think. Cool. I heard that because we have no access to Pandora from here. You can only reach it from the US. So
I'll check it.
Yeah, they requested our cover without any a band logo and stuff on it because they use it for some playlist stuff. I don't know. And yeah, so basically YouTube, whatever. You can check us out anywhere where you can find any band, you know. And
the Metal Blade label is going to be great. That's some good support behind it. They've always been great. So
absolutely.
That's a lot of history at Metal Blade. So you're joining a good bunch of ranks.
There you are. There you are in Pandora.
There you see how many songs of us are in there? 2?
They have Cure, Spiritual Euphoria. Just 2 songs. Okay.
Yeah, it's the 2 songs that are out yet. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
Ben, you've been great. I hope we weren't too far off the wall for you.
That's fine. I've experienced much worse things.
Okay, I don't know if that's good or bad, but we try and make it a different interview than tell me about the name of the band and tell me.
Yeah, that's absolutely cool. I really appreciate that, you know, because like most of the stuff you can read up on, like, I don't know, Wikipedia or whatever, you know, so, or most of the stuff nobody cares about, but that's cool. I enjoy interviews like that. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, you're not just saying that, right? We were pretty good at our jobs here.
Absolutely. Highly professional.
All right,
Ben,
dude.
thank you very much. Good luck with the record, and hopefully we'll get to see you on tour somewhere.
Hopefully we make it over to the US at one point in our career. I really, really hope so.
If you do, make sure you send us a shout out so we can go check it out.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys are on the guest list.
All right.
Promise. All right, man. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.
All right.
Cool, man.
Thanks be well. Thank you. All right. Right off.
Cheers.
Another great interview.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to tell that story. I was just...
That's all right. You actually had him taking apart your guitar. I was like, wait, I think he's going to start like unscrewing the back and asking what to do there.
Yeah. It gives people a way to get to know them, though. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
They're not just they're people that play great music.
Absolutely, but I wonder what people think when they like first hear it. They're like, "Oh shit, what am I doing here?"
Well, they're usually pretty shocked by the looks of things.
Cucumbers, Vaseline, and condoms. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's why I'd tell the story because it just reminded me of that time when Ken's like, "Here's my baby oil." Magnum condoms, please. I'm like, fuck.
Nice. Well, on that note, that's pretty much all I got for this one. I think that went well.
Yeah, man. It did.
For listening. And we'll catch you next week.
See you next week.